of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regret, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Ex-Scientologist.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin? skin. God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of Eric Fun.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's see who we have in here. All right, Vince, I am from the UK. Mr. Elevation, Terry is here. Terry Hartfield. Monifa is here. Mr. Elevation, Mary Searcy. All right, Ty is in the house. Courtney J. All right, so let's get ready to get into it. Cherokee Descended Dale, Buckhurst DC, Nessie X, Hot Coco, 504 Nola. All right, so grand rising to everyone. Hey, Pamela. Okay, so with that all been said, everyone please get the likes up. You know how it goes down in these YouTube streets. They have the Queen's Shadow Band, so please get those likes up and let's get ready to get into it. All right. So first things first. Hey, Desmond, and shout out to my moderators putting in work. Okay, so listen. We're about to talk about Scientology and what some of the former members have to say about it and some of the shady things that apparently go on. Now, what brought this all to my attention was last week, I believe it was, on the Backup channel, I talked about the story of David Miscavige, who's the leader of Scientology, and how he was supposed to be, he was in court and he was losing. And so he didn't like the way the judge was making the decision. So he petitioned to get the judge taken off the case. And he was successfully able to do so. Now, that wasn't the first time he done it. It was, in fact, the second. And so I thought that was very interesting because I said, who does this man think he is? How does he get to get a judge kicked off of the case because he doesn't like what the judge is saying? And so, you know, I just thought about all the power they have and all of that. And then I saw this article where they compared them to Diddy, which I thought was interesting because if they're comparing them to Diddy, and this is an old article from 2015, but nonetheless, if they compared Scientology to Diddy, that's right, Mr. Elevation said, that's too much power. Exactly. But here's my thing. If they're comparing Scientology to Diddy or the Church of Scientology to Diddy, well, why aren't they exposing them like they're exposing Diddy? That's what I want to know. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see the title of this article where they're comparing Scientology or the Church of Scientology to Diddy. Okay, so let's get the likes up. You all see that? It says, it's shocking how much Diddy has in common with the Church of Scientology. All right, I want y'all to pay attention. And so here's what they say. They say Diddy is mega powerful. That's a given. Everyone knows that he has a ridiculous level of influence and an iron grip on his crew. So guess what other entity also does? They say the Church of Scientology. So there are a lot of powerful things in the world besides Diddy and Scientology. So why only compare these two? Well, good question. They say we've uncovered some extreme similarities that will make you see exactly where we're coming from. The commonalities are scary accurate. And so here's what they say. They say, first off, a strong belief in the power of self. Okay, so according to Scientology.org, Scientologists believe that man is an immortal. His experience extends well beyond a single lifetime, and his capabilities are unlimited, even if not presently realized. If you look at Puff's whole career, you can see he follows this same credo. Now, the mogul stays winning in every business aspect, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. The fact that he's achieved so much and will continue to do so shows that he believes in no limits. He's crammed enough experience to last multiple lifetimes. Now, there are legions of loyal followers, they say. Now, the church says that it has over 10 million followers worldwide. Diddy has over 10 million fans on Twitter. Their influence brings all their devotees to the yard. Now, the crew they roll with, the roll call for Scientologists A-listers is extremely long. Okay, they have a lot of celebrities and A-listers in it. They say you got to know the big ones like Tom Cruise, Elizabeth Moss, Juliette Lewis, and John Travolta. They say Puff has his A-list friends that he calls on the regular as well, from Jay-Z, Beyonce, Nas, Chris Brown, Kanye West, and countless others. His friends are the creme de la creme of the music industry. And then he says they say they're on a boat. Now, the church has its own ship called MV Freewinds. This mega yacht is a whopping 440-foot long vessel and caters to Scientologists of the highest levels. It's been a luxurious religious retreat since 1988. And then they go on to say that Puff, on the other hand, has a yacht fit for a king, dubbed Oasis. It's nearly 195 feet long. This ship only set him back a mere $72 million when he reportedly brought it from Eric Schmidt, Google's executive chairman. Okay, and so that all being said, they go on to say other things. They say there are rumors that the current leader of the church, David Miscavige, often humiliates members of his staff. Examples of this come from former followers who described a place of confinement and humiliation known as the Hole. And we're going to talk about that later. Though the church described it as a place of discipline, previous staffers said it was more like a place for abuse. Now they say Puff has also been accused of not being the nicest person to his staff. From rumors of him cursing out employees to throwing food across the room, this guy definitely fits the bill. Okay, and then they include some videos of Diddy and some of his nefarious behavior, which I'm not going to show because this is actually from MTV. So with that all being said, as I told you, they want to compare the Scientology people to Diddy, which I find interesting, as I said. And so let's talk about some of the things that go on, because they talk about brainwashing. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm not in Scientology. I'm just telling you what some of the former members have said and what things have been reported. Okay? With that all being said, this is all alleged. Now, they say that these people some of them are brainwashed. They say that sometimes when people want to leave, they're not allowed to leave. And there's also been a report that the police have covered things up for them. Now, with the case of the leader, David Miscavige, basically his wife, Shelly, has not been seen publicly since 2007. This woman's been missing. Now, she was reported missing by Leah Remini, who's an actress who used to be involved in the Church of Scientology. This woman said this was her friend, and she reported her missing. And there was also, I believe, another person who reported her missing. And so there was a meeting in 2010 with police officers who went to, I believe they went to a diner or a cafe to supposedly meet with the missing woman, Shelly Miscavige. Now, they got there, it was her and an attorney, and they supposedly took photos and fingerprints to prove this is the person who's supposedly missing. But they weren't able to conclusively verify that the fingerprints were even the same, because they took the previous fingerprints from her DMV records, I think it was, and they said they couldn't prove if it was a match or not because the prints were taken incorrectly. So I just want you to pay attention. Now, don't you know that had to be done on purpose? What police officer doesn't know how to correctly take fingerprints? Okay? Make that make sense. I know how to take fingerprints. I learned in college when I was taking criminal justice. So I'm sorry, you mean tell me a whole police officer didn't know how to take accurate prints? Yeah. And then after that, they subsequently closed the case. Now they're saying that this woman is alive and fine, that she just chooses to remain isolated. Now she could be alive and fine, but some of the members say that because they have these isolated places where they put people to punish them, what have you, maybe they have her exiled there. Okay? And so with that all being said, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, the first thing is, let's talk about what an ex-Scientologist said. Okay, I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to share my screen and show this video. Ex-Scientologist says the church covers up failures of their beliefs. Okay, Mitch Brisker left the Church of Scientology in 2020 and says that the church's filmmaker says that he was sucked into an evil cult. Church denies it covers up allegations of abuse. This is what they say. This man says they cover up things, and he's a former member. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Scientology is a very wealthy church, like $2 billion. Other people will say, no, they're in trouble. It's got a lot of stardust, Hollywood members in it. But what is the reality of the church? What is the reality of its legitimacy under David Miscavige, the church's leader? A lot of stories come out. It's hard to do better than someone who's been in it a long time. Leah Remini is someone I rely on for perspective about this. You know her, there she is. Her sister as well. Our guest now became a member of the church at 23, nearly 50 years ago. In 2020, decided to leave, and now he's breaking his silence. He says, there's a lot more than meets the eye. Specifically, we know what happened with Danny Masterson in the courts. He says there's another story. Tom Cruise, he says there's another story. He's got a new book, The Big Lie, How I Made an Evil Cult Look Good. Mitch Brisker joins us now. Thank you for doing it. First, explain the title. How did you make an evil cult look good?
Well, the first thing I did was I didn't understand for many, many years that it was an evil cult. I was originally hired by the Church of Scientology to direct a bunch of training films to teach Scientology parishioners how to do what's called auditing, which is what Scientology counseling is. So I didn't really understand that it was an evil cult. It took years to learn that. But I did these, I directed these films. It was a problem for them to get them made for years and years. And then I went on to do TV ads, those quote unquote Super Bowl ads and all kinds of public facing stuff.
For the church.
Yeah, for the church specifically.
Tom Cruise is the face of Scientology for my generation. You say he's a victim. How so is he a victim?
Well, he's a victim in addition to being a face of Scientology. I mean, you have to understand this is a guy that's had all of his marriages have been completely disintegrated by his quote unquote friend, the leader of the church, David Miscavige. He's been, all of his ex-wives have been declared enemies of the church. He's been completely estranged from his one biological offspring. I don't know how that could happen without being victimized. And possibly worse is that over the years, I've seen him mirror David Miscavige in such a way that he himself has become abusive. So it's not that I disagree that Tom is a face of the church or that he is very much a promoter of the church, but at the same time, he's been victimized into that position. I don't think people understand that a person can be put at a high level of privilege as a way of abusing them.
The most interesting thing that I would like to see unpacked at some point in the future when it comes to Scientology is what's referred to as fair play or fair game, which is a practice within the church of going after opponents. And that in the Danny Masterson situation that we all saw from the outside of his prosecution, that there is another layer to the story, which is that the church was aware of Danny Masterson and that there was a concerted effort to cover for him because his actions weren't illegal in the eyes of the church, only telling on him was. Does that square with your understanding?
Partially, but it doesn't tell the whole story. The whole story is they're not protecting Danny Masterson. They're protecting Scientology's reputation because Scientology teaches, and I know this to be a fact because I made films that teach it. Scientology teaches that it's the only hope for mankind and that it has the means, what it calls its technology, to actually reform a criminal and make a victim whole. Danny Masterson is a massive failure. That failure really exposes the lie that Scientology is capable of doing this. And as a result, they then have to cover it up. They have to make sure that the victims don't speak out, and they have to make sure that Danny is, he doesn't fall into the justice system, because in their belief, that would be the worst thing in the world, because they have been taught and they believe that their technology, their methods can actually fix a guy like Danny, and it never could. So they're left with this horrible failure that they have to cover up. So it's not that they're covering up criminality, they're covering up a failure of their beliefs.
All right. So with that all being said, I'm going to have to disagree with him on that. I believe that they are covering up the failure of their beliefs, but also criminality. Okay, I believe they're covering up a lot of these crimes. Okay, so now let's talk about this missing woman who is the wife of the leader of the Church of Scientology. And mind you, the leader, David Miscavige, is the same person who got the judge kicked off the case, okay, for allegations against him. And here's the thing. They tried to serve this man 27 times, okay? He purposely was not available, was hiding out somewhere because he didn't want to be served with those papers, okay? With that all being said, Leah Remini, Scientology attacked her after Miscavige's disappearance. Actress Leah Remini filed a missing persons report for the wife of Scientology leader who has not been seen publicly in nearly 20 years. Okay, I find this all nefarious. So in a lawsuit filed in California, actress Leah Remini is accusing the Church of Scientology and its leader, David Miscavige, of harassment, stalking, infliction of emotional distress, and interfering with her ability to work. The lawsuit filed on August the 2nd in the Superior Court of California alleges that the Church of Scientology institutionalizes retaliatory activities against those it labels suppressive persons, okay, who speak out against the organization. So if you speak out against them, you want to come telling something or telling on somebody, like how the people that told on Danny Masterson, yeah, they'll demonize you and vilify you. Okay, and they also, in some cases, according to former members, will take you to the place known as the Hold, where you'll be have revenge enacted upon you, allegedly. Now, the Church of Scientology is founded by L. Ron Hubbard, the author of Dianetics, the Modern Science of Mental Health. The religion follows his writings. After Hubbard's death in 1986, David Miscavige took over as the head of the church. Now, Remini's attorney said that written instructions from Hubbard that instruct followers to attack anyone who questions the religion have continued to be enforced by Miscavige. Now, the original 1966 directive from Hubbard allegedly said that people who attack Scientology are criminals. Okay, if one attacks Scientology, he gets investigated for crimes. And if he does not attack Scientology, despite not being with it, one is safe. Now, Remini alleges in the lawsuit that Scientology hires outsiders and uses its own members to stalk, surveil, harass, threaten, and intimidate her and others who have spoken out against them. She said that the retaliatory strategies are known as fair game inside the church and that the tactics have been acknowledged previously in California courts, with one judge observing that in addition to violating and abusing its own members, their civil rights and all of that, the organization over the years with its fair game doctrine has harassed and abused those persons not in the Church of Scientology whom it perceives as enemies as well. So you don't even have to be affiliated with it. If you're just a person who basically speaks out against them, period, well, they can attack and harass you is what she's saying. Now, Remini says in the lawsuit that she came under attack at the beginning of 2006 following the Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes wedding in Italy. In the lawsuit, Remini says Miscavige's wife, Shelly Miscavige, was suspiciously not at the wedding. And when she inquired about Shelly's whereabouts, she was forced to go to Florida and undergo an ethics cycle. So they punished her for simply asking a question. And that's what these people say. They say you're not even allowed to, if they tell you to go get them a cup of coffee and you can't tell them, well, there's no more coffee. Well, we're 30 miles away. Well, it's no cream and sugar. They said you can't do any of that. You just better do what they tell you, and that's just what it is. Now, Remini claims that she was held captive in Florida for 4 months while she was put through a process that cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars and nearly led her to have a psychotic breakdown. Now, mind you, it cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they're not only going to retaliate against you, abuse you, or whatever, and then they're going to make you pay for it. And so it goes on to say, she says the Scientology process is called the truth rundown. Simply put, Truth Rundown is a form of psychological torture meant to rewrite the target's memories. This is absolutely brainwashing. Okay? Now, after admitting she was the problem, Remini says she was allowed to leave. So she had to admit that she was the problem and not them, and that she was wrong and they were right. She returned to Los Angeles and said she was forced to lie about what happened in Florida and make amends to Miscavige and Cruz. So Tom Cruise knows about this apparently. Remini formally left Scientology in 2013 and was labeled a suppressive person. And that's what they label the people who defect, who leave them and then speak against them. According to the lawsuit, other targets of the suppressive person policy include the United States government, including the Internal Revenue Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, United States attorneys, elected officials, the American Medical Association, the National Institute of Mental Health, Pulitzer Prize winning reporters, stand-up comedians. So you can't even tell jokes about these people. But let me continue. Cartoonists, university professors, district attorneys, judges, other law enforcement, social media users with as few as 10 followers. So that would include me. I'm a suppressive person. Please pay attention. Now, and a mother in Clearwater, Florida, who was concerned about her son's welfare as well was labeled as a suppressive person, just to name a few. So the actress also filed a missing person report for Shelly, who has not been seen in public for 17 years. The lawsuit alleges that current and former Scientologists recorded and videotaped messages to make disparaging and false claims against Ms. Remini, including false and defamatory statements that she was abusive to her mother and daughter and that she is a racist. These are the things they said about her, which she says are not true. She says the videos remain available online. So they publicly put this stuff out there. Okay, so statements posted to Scientology-controlled websites falsely claimed that Remini would not help pay for her father's cancer treatments, that she turned her back on her half-sister, and that she ransacked her dying grandmother's apartment. Remini released a memoir in 2015 that talked about abusive practices within Scientology. Now, while she was in New York promoting the book, she says she became aware that she was being followed by private investigators hired by Scientology. Remini claims that Scientology sent threats to parties promoting the book, including an ABC News senior vice president, Tom Sibrowski, and John Bentley, in an attempt to prevent her from earning income from the book. Remini points to several canceled and paused projects as evidence that Scientology has been making an effort to prevent her from working. Remini says the letters were sent to A&E after she created, produced, and hosted the documentary series Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath. Remini also alleges that the Scientology organization interfered with her contracts with iHeartRadio, Audio Boom, and the Game Show Network by sending letters to the networks and their advertisers. Remini's lawsuit alleges that Scientology went as far as to give a man with a history of mental illness and violent crimes money and a vehicle with which to stalk her, and that the man rammed his car into the security gates of her community. The man was eventually arrested, and after his release, called police to falsely accuse Remini of holding hostages in her home. So he swatted her. That's what they call that. When someone lies and says you got, something going on at your house or whatever, and they're just totally making this up, then the police come there. That's what that is. So Remini also claims the church hired companies to install surveillance technology targeting her home. While defendants have not succeeded in muzzling, obliterating, or ruining utterly, they have threatened and harmed what Ms. Remini holds most valuable: her family, her security, her reputation, and her career. This is what it says in the lawsuit. Now, in a statement to Court TV, the Church of Scientology called Remini's lawsuit ludicrous and the allegations pure lunacy, and called Remini an anti-free speech bigot, is what they said. Scientology further said that Remini has profited from her fabrications as she has spread falsehoods and hate speech about her prior religion. The church is not intimidated. This is what they say. The church is not intimidated by Remini's latest act of blatant harassment and attempts to prevent truthful free speech. If Remini does not believe in free speech, then she should consider immigrating to Russia. This is what they said. So that was a statement from the church. So I think it's safe to say that if these things are true, these allegations of which she's made, this absolutely is a cult. If what she says is in fact true, that's just what it is. So now let's talk about the missing woman. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, this article is titled "What to Know About Shelly Miscavige, the wife of Scientology leader David Miscavige." Okay, she hasn't been seen publicly since 2007. Okay, so Shelly Miscavige has sparked intrigue for years. Okay, she married David Miscavige in 1982, and they rose together in the Church of Scientology as members of an elite group called the Commodore's Messenger Organization. She was rumored to have played a large role in the church alongside David until 2006. 6 years after Shelly's last public appearance, actress Leah Remini left the church in 2013 and filed a missing persons report with the Los Angeles Police Department. However, after the investigation, the LAPD announced they had found her to be alive and safe. Okay, they said that she was alive and safe and they were not pursuing the case. Nonetheless, her whereabouts have continued to be the subject of controversy, and Remini has continued to question what happened to the woman she has described as her former friend. And so, where is this woman? That's what everyone wants to know. So the last time Shelly was seen in public was at her father's funeral in 2007. Pictures of her attending the function surfaced online. However, she has not been photographed since. Now, the church denied that that she had disappeared and said she was fine and she was merely a private person. Okay, she's not a public figure, and we ask that her privacy be respected. That's what a Scientology spokeswoman said in 2013 after she was reported missing by Leah Remini. Please pay attention. Now, Mark Headley, a former Scientologist who has spoken critically of the church, told Vanity Fair in 2014 that Shelly was once a top aide for the religious group, but was stripped of her duties and carefully watched by a handler. So they have handlers, please pay attention, allegedly, said she was watched by a handler during her father's service. So even when this woman went to her father's funeral, they're saying that there was someone there to supervise her, to watch over her, like the woman with Britney Spears that was always at her side and whispered in her ear and all of that. Now, when another church member followed Shelly to the bathroom and asked her for help, Hadley alleged that Shelly said, "Listen to me, I effed up and I'm not going to be able to help you." The Church of Scientology, in a statement to People, called Headley a fully discredited source whose past legal claims against the church were dismissed by a federal district court judge in 2010. Now, while attending Scientology member Tom Cruise's wedding to Katie Holmes in 2006, Remini said she noticed that Shelly wasn't present, with which the actress found odd considering her husband David was the best man. When Remini raised questions to the wedding attendees, the guests didn't respond. So everybody just knows not to talk. It's like these people remind me of what you might call the Stepford Wives. You remember that? How they were programmed and they would only say what they were programmed to say and do and all of that. She said, "I kept asking throughout the night, does anybody know where Shelly is?" Now, Remini turned to the top church official, Tommy Davis, next, who she claims replied, I don't think you have the effing rank, quite honestly, to ask where Shelly is. It was a little bit shocking to hear that. Now, that sort of sparked something in me, she said. Davis denied saying that through his attorney. He said this claim is an invention, adding that Davis and his wife, Jessica, a Scientology staffer who was also at the wedding, recall observing Miss Remini's repeated rude behavior, which became so blatant, it was a topic of dismayed discussion among other guests, including friends of Miss Remini. Remini claimed that as a consequence of her questions, she was subsequently sent to a church facility in Clearwater, Florida. Okay, so this is just all real crazy as far as I'm concerned. Now, let's talk about this meeting. And they also called Miss Remini a bitter ex-Scientologist, okay, who continues her bizarre efforts to harass the Church of Scientology. So she's saying they've been harassing her. They're saying that she's the one harassing them. So now let's talk about how LAPD closed the case. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. LAPD closed Shelly Miscavige's case for the missing person after a woman claimed she was the Scientology leader's wife, despite the fact that they had mismatched fingerprints and footage of her rendezvous. And here's the thing, footage of her rendezvous was mysteriously scrambled. Now, so let's talk about it, because here's the thing. This woman who claimed that she was the missing woman, Shelly Miscavige, she showed up with her attorney, like I said, met with the police, and they had this all on video because the place where they were at, there was a camera there recording. So here's what happened. The LAPD closed the missing person case for Shelly Miscavige in 2013 after meeting with a woman who claimed to be the Scientology leader's missing wife without properly verifying her identity. Okay, they didn't even properly verify who this woman was. Now, she has not been seen since her father's funeral in 2007. In 2013, she was reported missing by Leah Remini, okay, an actress who spent 35 years in the church before quitting. This woman was in the church 35 years. I did not realize she had been there that long. This is real crazy. So now, according to reporter Yashar Ali, the LAPD met the woman who claimed that she was Shelly at a coffee shop after Lee filed the report. The woman was accompanied by Jeffrey Riffer, a long-serving Scientology lawyer. Now I really am getting suspicious because the person she showed up with as her attorney was one of them. Okay. Ali, citing 11 unnamed sources who are too afraid to speak out, reports that detectives took the woman's fingerprints, but they were too faint to make a positive match. So, and I'm going to show you the fingerprints. Now, when cops requested surveillance footage of the rendezvous from the coffee shop where it took place, the tape had been scrambled to make all investigation impossible. So here's the thing. They said that the police went to the coffee shop and asked for the surveillance footage. And then all of a sudden, when they get it in their possession, now it's scrambled. You can't even see who's on there. That had to be done on purpose. So she remains missing. Her husband, David, now he was also missing for a minute because, like I said, he was the subject of multiple lawsuits from former Scientologists. But he has never been physically reached to be served with any paperwork. Well, that was back then because he's been served. And like I told you, he got the judge kicked off the case. Now, according to Ali's report, the LAPD detectives met with the woman claiming to be Shelly on August the 8th of 2013, just after 5 p.m. Remini, who met Shelly as a child on board one of the church's Sea Org boats, had become increasingly worried about her whereabouts and reported her missing 3 days earlier on August the 5th. They met up at the Highway Side coffee shop, and it was brief. Now, the detectives took the woman's ID and fingerprints, which were sent to a lab for processing. Days later, technicians ruled that the prints were not a match because the sample given by the woman was not thorough enough. Ali cites a police source who questioned whether the woman might have been trained to give an incomplete fingerprint. Like maybe this woman did it on purpose. Instead of seeking a second set of prints, the case was closed and the cops put out a press release calling Remini's report that Shelly was missing unfounded. Days later, the same detectives contacted the coffee shop asking for the surveillance footage of the rendezvous. When the tape was turned over to the police, the footage was mysteriously scrambled. This is what Ali writes. Ali writes that he viewed the tape himself. Okay, so sounds definitely like some shady stuff going on. And now with that all being said, let me show you all the fingerprints. Darius said, that's crazy. The missing lady was probably unalived. Absolutely, or being held somewhere likely against her wishes. Okay? So this is the woman right here. Or that's the woman that showed up, I guess. And those are the fingerprints. Now, Shelly Miscavige's DMV photo, which was taken in 2010, is the first photo of her released to the public since 2004. Bracketing her image are fingerprints given by the woman identifying herself as Shelly Miscavige for detectives. Okay, so that's the fingerprints. And as you can see, the fingerprints are very faint. So they basically couldn't get a match, prove if it was a match or not. And I think that was all by design because I don't think the woman that showed up at that coffee shop, I don't think that was her. And let me show a picture of Shelly also, by the way. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, hold on just a second. Let me pull up a picture of her. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, that's Shelly Miscavige right there. That's her right there. And quite frankly, I don't believe that this woman is just somewhere trying to be private all of a sudden. Okay, I find that very interesting. Find it very interesting. So with that all being said, they go on to say, Shelly Miscavige found. Video potentially reveals secret Scientology base. Now, this came out in January of 2023. So they say there's a secret Scientology base. So let's get into it. A former Scientologist has reignited discussion about the whereabouts of Shelly Miscavige, the rarely seen wife of the church's leader, David Miscavige. Shelly has not been seen since 2007, and she became the punchline in one of Jared Michael's jokes at the Golden Globe Awards. The comedian who was hosting the show suggested that Tom Cruise's return trophies may be exchanged for her safe return. So this is something commonly known in Hollywood that this woman's been missing, okay? Now, around the same time as the star-studded broadcast, Aaron Smith 11 took to his growing up in Scientology YouTube channel to share resurfaced drone footage of what he described as one of the church's top secret bases in Twin Peaks, California. So he said they have top secret bases of their own, saying this is literally one of the most secretive Scientology bases in the world, and we can take a tour of it with drone footage. Okay. And he discussed this. He discussed the Google Earth footage, which was originally posted on YouTube, on the YouTube channel Angry Thetan 5 years ago. All right. So with that all being said, he said it has to piss David Miscavige off to no end that someone succeeded in flying a drone with a camera over one of their most secretive bases. This is what he says, adding that the non-Scientologist armed security guards oversee the base. The security guards, he says, were said to have been put in place to help keep Shelly from escaping the base. He said, I don't think Shelly wants to escape. In the high-quality footage, a collection of buildings were shown dotted around a thick forest as part of the compound that Smith 11 described as the Church of Spiritual Technology, also known as CST. Okay, he says this is the base where Miscavige works. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen and show you all the place that's known as the Hole, where they supposedly take people and keep them there like a prison. Now, this is all allegations because they claim that it's not a hole, it's not a prison, and all of that. Okay? So that's one of the places that the people are supposedly taken to when they do something that's disagreeable. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to pull up a video where Leah Remini did an interview. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. She did an interview with Joe Rogan. I'm going to share that on the screen. Here we go.
We all know there's different treatment for celebrities.
Well, especially in Scientology, right?
No.
It's highlighted.
It is like nothing you could ever imagine. It is. So when people say Tom doesn't leave because they have information on him or John, that's not the reason. The amount of power they receive from this church is like nothing in Hollywood. It is like nothing. There is no reason for them to leave this environment.
Right, so it's super beneficial for them to be attached to it.
Correct.
Like he has employees, they work for him, all these people take care of his every need.
Yes, and there's policy on how to talk to somebody. Like you wouldn't say, like if you said, go get me go get me a coffee and I want it this temperature. There's no, I can't get it. We're 5 miles from any, we're 30 miles. There would be none of that kind of talk. Like not any kind, there's policy about you don't talk back like ever. You don't step out of line. You don't give an opinion. You don't make a face. You don't make a gesture. You don't sigh. If you step out of line in any way, you are dealt with by the church at your expense.
Tom essentially has servants.
Correct.
How many people?
A lot. And by the way, I don't begrudge somebody with a staff. Like, if you can have it, I go do it all day, all night. Do it all day, all night. But when you believe, as a Scientologist, you are working for somebody who single-handedly is saving the planet, and you deserve that kind of punishment, that's something different, babe. You understand what like that? It's an abuse that is not justified, but it is justified because you believe that you are single-handedly saving the planet. Capiche?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Okay, so you all heard that. Leah has done great work exposing this cult, says Deneen. Absolutely. And so with that all been said, she's basically saying that Tom Cruise is there because they give him all this unlimited power. And then basically people are his servants. And you can't even question anything that you're told to do. I just want you all to pay attention. But here's the thing. And they have assaults allegedly going on. Not only just with adults. And so it's very interesting because you see people like Nature Boy get life sentences. Well, this is all overlooked. I want you all to pay attention. This is all overlooked. Now, Danny Masterson, the guy from that 70s show, he was recently sentenced to 30 years for 3 counts of rape that he was convicted of. But that wasn't even supposed to go to trial because they wanted to keep that within the confines of the Church of Scientology because they have their own laws and rules, according to them. Now, so this is the story of a man who left Scientology. Man explains why he had to get out of Scientology after being in the cult for years. Jack Howie sat down and talked about his experience. So, while many have fled the religious movement, past members have noted the difficulty in breaking free as followers are entirely independent on a social network from inside the organization. So Jake was born into a family of Scientologists and was raised in the church for the first decade of his life. He said, I think a lot of the time these things start as such innocent, wonderful things. However, Jake began to notice that the movement didn't encourage independent or critical thought. No, you have to be involved in groupthink and what they tell you to think, according to ex-members. He admitted that he enjoyed the comfort of being told what to think, describing it as easy. He said, if you're ever anywhere where you can't question what's being put before you, that's an effing cult. Now, while he and his family began questioning the church's motives, he revealed there was no divine moment that caused them to leave. He said, slowly but surely, it's like, okay, we're not going every week. And then, okay, we're not going every month. And then, okay, the energy that the parents had once possessed slowly started to fade. He said, I think the kind of reverb of that is I've never felt like I'm in a group since I left Scientology. I don't know if that's because I was young and I liked being part of it. And then what I got from it was that it was kind of like camaraderie. I had no effing clue what we thought. Everyone was told to think the same. We all think the same. I told you, like Stepford Wives, programmed to think a certain way. However, since leaving, he's managed to evade cults entirely, realizing that the only belief he needs is self-acceptance. He said, it's almost like the minute I feel like I'm subscribing to that kind of common groupthink, I kind of lost the battle, and then I'm in a cult again. Now, Church of Scientology leader David Miscavige served 27 times with trafficking lawsuit. Because that's what they were charging him with. He's been charged with human trafficking. Okay? Miscavige has been concealing his whereabouts. That's what he was doing. He was concealing his whereabouts in order to prevent being served. Okay, so let's get into it. And so here's what they say. The Church of Scientology's leader was served 27 times in 2 states with a federal lawsuit that accused him of human trafficking. But attorneys were either denied entry or told he wasn't at the location. Now, after 10 months, U.S. Judge Julie Sneed ruled that David Miscavige is actively concealing his whereabouts or evading service, said that he's deemed to have been properly served as of the date of the order, which was February the 14th of 2023. And therefore, he was served on that day. And then they said he had 21 days to answer to the lawsuit, and which he did. Okay, which he did. But basically, like I told you, he got the judge kicked off the case because he didn't like the way it was going. And one of the things that he was accused of was having someone who was underage marry someone who was much older and have relations with this person, and the person didn't want to. Okay. Denise said his wife hasn't been seen in years. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And before David, it was Jim Jones, says Malcolm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, let's continue. Now, also, they talk about some of the things that go on in this place known as the Hole. What allegedly happens inside Scientology's notorious prison camp called the Hole. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, so they say it's a poisonous environment. All right. They said they talked about the Hole in the HBO documentary. People were really frightened, and this went on for years. It wasn't just a couple of days. People were put there for years. Yeah, that sounds like prison to me. Okay. He literally created his prison camp, says Marty Rathbun, a former executive who left Scientology in 2004. He said this in Going Clear of his time in the Hole. It was inevitable that I wasn't going to last there. And so they say the Hole started off as a power grab by the leader, David Miscavige. That's why he built it. Former Scientologist says David Miscavige sent dozens of senior executives to the organization's gold base near Hemet, California. Leading up to the order, former members said they noticed Miscavige was extremely agitated and paranoid that there was a plot to overthrow him. Miscavige was definitely wiped out Miscavige very definitely wiped out that organizational pattern in order to be able to have ultimate power. Okay, this is what a former Scientologist executive, Tom DeVos, said in Going Clear. And Going Clear is, I believe, the documentary. Okay, now the executives were reportedly corralled into double-wide trailers, which then served as the office space for the international wing of Scientology. International President Herbert Jezinks was among them. Many ended up spending months to years living in those trailers, according to accounts. Several people who were held there say the Hole's numbers swelled to as many as 100 people. The trailer space morphed from being known as the International Office to the A&E Room, named after the church's confessional process, the A to E steps. It was then the SP Hole. Okay, SP refers to suppressive persons. Okay, members who are believed to have broken church rules and had to be bad influences on other members. Ultimately, SP Hole was shortened to the Hole. Now they go on to say the Hole quickly grew into a detention center for high-ranking members who displeased the leader, David Miscavige. And this is all according to former members. They say, honestly, the reasons for that could be from anything as simple as answering a question wrong, not answering a question, a facial expression that was inappropriate, falling asleep after being up for a couple of days. I mean, literally anything, and you're put in the Hole. This is what ex-Scientology spokesman Mike Render says. So even if they ask you a question and you get the wrong answer, this is all crazy. And this place looks real scary. I'm going to show you all something. Hold on. Now, this looks to be the security around Scientology complex. Okay, this is what it is. They have like these iron bars. Like there's no way you're getting out of there, is all I'm saying. This looks real scary. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it. Please pay attention. If you all can see that. See those bars? That's real crazy. So anyway, it goes on to say that Mike Render says that he and the 100 or so others being held in the hole had to eat slop, and they weren't able to come and go as they pleased. Definitely sounds like prison. The doors had bars on them. The windows had bars put on them, and there was one entrance door that a security guard sat at 24 hours a day. Now, in Going Clear, former Scientology executives described being forced to play a game of musical chairs against each other, in which only the last person sitting would get to stay in Scientology. The others would be kicked out and not allowed to see or speak with their family members in Scientology again. At the end of the tense and violent game, Miscavige reportedly said they could all stay. Other tales of mental and physical abuse in the hole include one executive who was made to stand underneath the strong gust of an air conditioner while water was poured on him, a woman who was beaten by her members until she confessed she was a lesbian, and another member who was made to lick a bathroom floor for half an hour. This is all sick. There was constant pressure for those in the hole to confess their acts against David Miscavige and Scientology. According to former Scientologists, Miscavige was known to attack executives in the hole. So they say also the occupants were would allegedly use violence against each other in order to draw out confessions. It was like the Lord of the Flies in there. I mean, it was insane. It was literally, I'm going to beat the crap out of you before I get the crap beat out of me. So like if someone wouldn't tell, the rest of them would gang up on this person and beat the mess out of them until they told, so nobody would get in trouble. Now in 2009, the FBI investigated Scientology on claims of human trafficking abuse. That same year, 2 former Scientologists sued the church on charges of forced labor and other human rights abuses. A judge ruled in favor of Scientology in the case due to First Amendment protections for religions and their practices. Now, I want y'all to pay attention, among other things that led the FBI investigation to be dropped in 2011. See, this is too much power and control. Now, they can sit here and play these little stupid games if they want to, and by that, I mean the law, the government, the powers that shouldn't be. They can sit here and play these foolish, ignorant games and act like, okay, this is religion, so we don't have anything to do with interfering. But if religion is committing crimes against people, if religion is denying people their human and civil rights, how are they not being punished for this? Okay, how are they not being punished for this? This is all crazy. While Scientology acknowledged it has a system of discipline for its members, it told ABC News that there is no such thing as the hole and it never existed. So that's what they want people to think. There's no such thing as the hole when the people have shown pictures of it, and the guy said that they flew a drone over it with a camera and took aerial footage of it. Okay, this is all crazy. Now it goes on to say Scientology refutes the accounts from Going Clear and Leah Remini's A&E show, saying that they are false and motivated by bitterness and money. Isn't that the same thing Diddy's attorney said? Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, I saw somebody said something about Jada Pinkett in the chats and Will Smith. Well, Jada has maintained that she was never a member of Scientology. She said that she simply went there to learn about their teachings and all of that. And she made a bunch of excuses as to why. And then she said when she homeschooled her kids, she had them go there as well, just to learn the system that they give or whatever. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's still nefarious. That's all I'm saying. Now I'm going to share a video of Jada Pinkett from Red Table Talk when she interviewed Leah Remini. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. And I'm going to put an overlay over this because I don't have permission to use this footage. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to put an overlay on top of this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Didn't consider you
Right.
because I didn't.
Right.
I was so caught up in the I don't want to cry. I was just caught up in that pain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the pain of others.
Yeah.
And the effects that it had.
Jada Pinkett Smith and Leah Remini coming face to face on Jada's Facebook Watch series Red Table Talk.
Leah reached out to me and she opened a space for healing between us. I embraced it. Yep. And so we decided to bring it to the table.
The sit down is years in the making. The actresses fell out when Leah publicly accused Jada of being a Scientologist after an appearance on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, on which Jada made light of Leah's claims in her 2015 book Troublemaker about participating in a game of adult hide-and-go-seek at Tom Cruise's house.
Have you played hide and seek at Tom Cruise's house before?
this is when our kids were really small.
Okay.
And Tom loved games. That was the whole point of Tom was just fun like that.
Yeah.
So I know she kind of made it seem kind of weird.
Right.
But it really wasn't. It was just a bunch of us goofing off with our kids and playing silly games.
Fair game is a policy in Scientology that calls for the utter destruction of a critic of Scientology.
Got it.
You get trained on how to do this. You
Right.
first deal with it with a laugh, like it's boring. And the second thing is to discredit the facts. That's why I said, then Jada's a Scientologist, because there's no reason for Jada to be doing that other than fair gaming me.
Just so you know, I wasn't fair gaming you on Andy Cohen. I wasn't fair
but it was
gaming you.
textbook.
This talk was the first time Jada ever explained her involvement with the controversial church, which Leah, of course, left.
For years, it's been rumored that I was a Scientologist because I took some courses at the church and was interested in study tech, one of the organization's teaching methods. I also opened a school that used the study tech, which added to the speculation.
You saw me at the Scientology Center. I love religion because I grew up in the ethical society.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was like, you're going to learn all the religions and then you got to decide which one you want to practice.
Love that.
So for me, all religions have been my home.
Sure.
Which is why I didn't have a problem going to the Church of Scientology and saying, I'm not a Scientologist. I want to just be here and see what you have to offer.
Right.
Because that was my life.
Because of Jada's celebrity status, Leah says she got access to Scientology texts that most people would have to work years for and spend lots of money to get their hands on. But Jada made it clear she's never officially joined the church and supports Leah's search for Shelly Miscavige, the wife of Scientology leader David Miscavige, who has not been seen publicly in years.
Where is your friend? Where is she?
Yeah.
And I had a lot of respect for the fact that you would not give up on that question.
Well, it's still not answered today.
Right.
Despite me hiring a lawyer and that lawyer through the Public Information Act trying to get information, we are still being stonewalled today about where is Shelly Miscavige, the leader's wife.
Jada gives all credit to Leah for reaching out to mend the relationship, admitting she probably wouldn't have ever made that call herself.
It's just never too late, for friends, for families, it's just never too late to heal.
Sorry, I forgot to cut my mic back on. I don't believe Jada. I think she's absolutely lying, saying that her grandmother told her to study all religions. And first of all, who's going to study all religions? Do you all know how many religions there are? Do you know how many religions there are? There's no way she was studying that just because she's studying religion. She's lying. She's lying, okay? I'm calling it she's lying. All right? She is absolutely lying. Ty said Jada's fake. Exactly. She's a part of it. First of all, here's the thing. Even if you were studying different religions and then you decided that you didn't want to be a Scientologist, why are you using their practices, their methods? Why are you sending your children to learn their methods? Why would you open a school and teach their methods? Like, miss me with it, girl, please. She's not a Scientologist. Tell me you're not a Scientologist. Tell me you're a Scientologist without telling me you're a Scientologist. You study their doctrine, okay? You study their doctrine, period. So sit down somewhere. See, here's the thing I want you all to pay attention to, because she thinks she's slick, and she's not slick to me. Now, she may not literally go to the Church of Scientology all the time on a regular basis and be all caught up in it like some of them, but at the end of the day, she's still a Scientologist. If you study their doctrine, you're one of them, period. I could say I'm a Christian, but I don't go to church. But I study the Christian doctrine. I view the Bible the same as Christians. So wouldn't that make me a Christian? Just because I don't go to church? Just because I don't have a home church, I'm not a Christian? Of course you are. So sit down somewhere, Jada. She's absolutely a Scientologist, her and Will Smith. Now, she can call herself what she wants to call herself. She can say she's not a member, and she may not be a member of the church specifically, but you are a Scientologist. If you're studying Scientology and you're living it and doing it, using it, and teaching it to your kids, and then having it at a school that you open, please sit down somewhere. Okay? I cannot. Some people love to play with semantics. That doesn't work for me. Okay? Have several seats, Miss Jada Pinkett. Now listen to this, because as I told you, there's a lot of celebrities involved in this, and John Stamos, if you all remember John Stamos, he reveals close call with Scientology, said they had strange sex inquiries. That's what he said. He said he had a close call. So let's talk about it. He said that he was headed toward joining the Church of Scientology when, after an acting class, a teacher's assistant gave him a book. He said, the person told him, I think it will open your eyes to some amazing things. That's what he recounts her telling him. Now, while thumbing through the book, the Full House star writes, he saw that the contents included a lot about control, controlling your reactionary mind, controlling energy, controlling space, and controlling time. A number of celebrities are known to be Scientologists, including Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Elizabeth Moss, deceased celebrities like Kirstie Alley, Isaac Hayes. I was shocked to hear that Isaac Hayes was a Scientologist. They were all avowed Scientologists, and Alley sometimes spoke publicly about her beliefs. Other celebrities have walked away from the church, including Laura Prepon, Leah Remini, and Paul Haggis. Remini and Haggis have been publicly critical of the church since their departures. Actor Danny Masterson, who was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison after he was convicted on two of three counts of rape, he was recently expelled from the church. Now keep in mind, why was he expelled from the church? Because he did what he did? No, I don't think that's why at all. Because he went to prison and he was tried and convicted in a regular court. Because they have their own rules, according to them and former members. And also, they said they didn't believe what he did was illegal, but the fact that someone told on him. The fact that someone from the church told on him, that was the problem, is what they said. Now, Stamos writes that he went to a meeting at Hollywood's Church of Scientology, the Celebrity Center International, which he described as a grand, ornate, and creepy as F. Okay, a cross between Chateau Marmont, which is Disney's haunted mansion, and a mental hospital. He said it was a cross between Disney's haunted mansion and a mental facility. Once inside, he took part in an auditing session. Okay, now, Newsweek has contacted representatives of the Church of Scientology by email for comments on Stamos' account, and we'll update the article when they find out or whatever. But basically, the church has previously called critics such as Remini, who have documented record, okay, they have said these things are malicious lies. So keep in mind, he said a lot about control. Now let's talk about these so-called RICO charges. Because this came out this year. Church of Scientology may face RICO charges. Scientology faces charges in civil case alleging criminal activities. Masterson accusers seek trial, reveal new great claims and church cover-ups. Remini lawsuit turns to takes a turn with a deposition contradicting church narrative. So they say plaintiffs in a civil harassment case against the Church of Scientology and its leader, David Miscavige, along with actor Danny Masterson, are urging the court to label the organization as a criminal enterprise, okay, due to its alleged pattern of racketeering activity. Now, the accusers who have proposed a second amended complaint seek to include racketeer influenced and corrupt organization charges, citing 3 additional grape claims against Masterson. And these were supposedly covered up because they got him on 3. He was charged with 3, convicted of 2, but they're saying there's even more. And these were covered up, allegedly. Now, the proposed complaint filed December the 27th and heading towards a trial date of September 22nd of 2025 alleges that Scientology engages in criminal activities such as fraud, human trafficking, identity theft, and money laundering to benefit its leadership, with Miscavige identified as the undisputed leader of this criminal enterprise. Okay, now this sounds like Diddy's lawsuit. I'll say that much. So Scientology denies these allegations, calling them complete fabrications and attempted money grabs. Like Diddy's attorneys, please pay attention. Isn't that what Sean Hawley said? Now, the civil suit initiated almost 5 years ago includes accusations of harassment, surveillance, and harm to pets suffered by ex-members who reported grape claims against Masterson. So basically, they punished the people. Now, this is alleged because this is what the people are saying. But they say these people who reported Danny Masterson, they were punished. Said they were harassed, had surveillance on them, and there was harm to their pets, and they suffered. The amended complaint places a stronger emphasis on sexual assaults and cover-ups, previously undisclosed grapes allegedly committed by Masterson. The plaintiffs assert that the church actively concealed Masterson's actions, preventing victims from reporting abuse and launching aggressive harassment campaigns against them. Simultaneously, another legal spotlight on Scientology involves a harassment suit by former member Leah Remini. A recent deposition from a Scientology volunteer religious worker, Yi Chin Wan, sheds light on a 2019 knife attack in Sydney, Australia, long blamed on Remini by the church. So they don't say this woman attacked somebody with a knife while she was in Australia. Okay. Now, and I don't believe she did it. Now, however, Wan's deposition contradicts the church's narrative, focusing on a teenager's frustration over confiscated material rather than implicating Remini. The deposition could be a crucial element in the upcoming hearing. Now, a February the 13th hearing in Los Angeles is set to address Scientology's attempt to strike portions of the civil suit by accusers in Masterson's criminal trials. In June of 2023, Masterson was convicted of raping 2 women in Los Angeles in his home in 2003. In September, a judge sentenced him to 30 years to life in prison. His wife, Bijal Phillips, filed for divorce in the weeks that followed after a marriage of nearly 12 years. This is all so crazy. And then also, when you talk about human trafficking, you're not just talking about people being forced to engage in, sexual activities, but also people being forced to do labor where they have to work for free, because that's another thing that they've been accused of. That's another thing they've been accused of. They say that they have these immigrant workforce that and they also say they go out and recruit people as well. So let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And so they say Scientology's secret immigrant workforce exposes decades of exploitation. So they say to boost members, church leaders have recruited thousands of people from abroad, even making heavy use of the R1 visa program, a strategy that is all but unknown to the general public and has never been fully scrutinized. Federal rules specify that R1 applicants must have been a member of a given religion for 2 years and must promise that they're coming to the U.S. to work. okay, solely as a minister or to perform religious vocation or occupation duties. So they have to be saying that they're coming to the United States to work with some type of religious program. Now, but former Scientologists said that church officials instructed them to give statements about their work to immigration officials that would clear them to obtain a religious visa. Then once they arrived, found themselves doing non-religious work for extended periods of time. Such activity could expose Scientology to liability on a number of fronts. So they claim they have these people working for little to no pay, is basically what they're saying. And then here are some of the, this is all real nefarious. Okay, here are some of the people. Here are some of the immigrants right here. That's the uniform. It says a member of a given religion for 2 years and most must promise that they are coming to the U.S. to work solely as a minister or perform religious vocation or occupation. So basically, they're lying to get these people to be able to do the work. Okay, which I find all nefarious. This is a headline: Scientology prison, trapped for life. John Travolta, Tom Cruise, Kirstie Alley. More celebrities. This is Danny Masterson, for those of you who've forgotten who he is. And that's the leader right there, David Miscavige. That's him. So like I said, this is all crazy. So there, and here's the thing. I want you to pay attention, because they also say that in Scientology, you're not too young to do anything. Okay? They say you're not too young to do anything. So just think about what that means for children. Okay? Please pay attention. Now I'm going to go to a couple of videos with former members speaking.
So I'm here with Laura Anderson. She was a former Scientologist, born and raised into, and also
as a child. Yes. So there's and in Scientology, you're not a child.
Yes.
When you're a Scientologist or a seer member, or when you get in, what part of the slow teachings is a child is just a spirit, not a body. You can be any age and do anything, and you're actually expected to do anything at any age that you are, whether that's sexual, whether that's auditing somebody, getting an older man's information of rape or any. So you wonder why people like Danny Masterson are now in jail for doing things that seemed like, oh well, I thought if I could just hide behind Scientology. I knew Danny as a friend and a Scientologist.
So you knew Danny.
I know, and yeah.
How did you manage to get out?
They were unbelievable.
Oh, it takes
bravery.
You don't just no. Fuck bravery. It literally takes like, all right, I'm ready to think I had this whole life planned out and my plans for this, and all that's going to go in the trash.
This protest is to abolish Scientology indefinitely forever, is to bring awareness of how evil it is. It's inhumane, it is subhuman. So must research about it, how evil it is.
Go look up SBTV. If you need any, there's plenty of children and kids coming out right now talking about it, and just go on YouTube and type in SBTV.
Okay, so you all heard that. She said, I know it was kind of difficult to hear because there was people in the background talking and someone else was having a whole nother conversation. But basically, this woman is saying that you're not viewed as a child, like everybody's the same. Okay, they believe that your body is just a vessel that encapsulates your spirit, which it is, but they use that as their excuse for not identifying that someone's a minor. Okay, this is all crazy. So you can just think about, and here's the thing, what person in their right mind would think that's okay? What person with logical thinking and critical thinking skills, even just common sense, would think that that's okay, wants to be a part of that? And Jada needs to sit down somewhere, because you don't think she knows these things. You don't think she's privy to information. I mean, she was in it, right? She was going there to get her teachings and education. She claims she's not a full member, but nonetheless, I'm sure she knows about these things that go on. All right, so I find it also interesting. Now, here's another clip where this woman says that they talks about trafficking.
Because this is the way to take down Scientology.
So Scientology has a bigger, they have a trafficking scheme. They have a trafficking scheme where they will pull in human traffic, like children, grandmothers, Latinos, Latina, like anybody that's from another country.
Amen, sister.
And this is not okay. And they do it by saying, take a free personality test, right? None of it says like this is Scientology. No. And the moment you put your information, even just writing your name down for saying you entered. So we're just here with
I come from a small town.
We love it.
Yeah,
I
live up on the Canadian.
Okay, so all nefarious, like I said. And you know, some countries have actually banned Scientology. Like I said, they talk about the brainwashing. The Church of Scientology is frequently accused by critics of employing brainwashing. One alleged example of the church's possible brainwashing tactics is the Rehabilitation Project Force, to which church staff are assigned to work off alleged wrongdoings under conditions that many critics characterize as degrading. So humiliating the people is what they're saying. Basically humiliating people. How many countries in Scientology, or how many countries is Scientology banned in? Scientology has been shut down in Greece, indicted in Spain, its activities restricted in Russia, rebuffed by Sweden's highest court, expelled from college campuses in Norway, convicted of crimes in Canada, and denied status as a charitable organization or a religion in most European countries. But no problem here in America. There's no problem here in America. I just want you all to pay attention. I also want you all to pay attention to how a lot of these organizations in the United States that have things that are nefarious, that where they put children in danger, they're allowed to have these things. Look at NAMBLA. You all know about NAMBLA, right? Just think about NAMBLA. Think about the Church of Scientology. Okay? Think about things like this, because this is all so nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Just Another Woman said they need to shut that down in America. Yes, they absolutely do. I absolutely agree. Okay? This is all just real sad that people allow themselves to be caught up in something like this. I mean, it sounds like a whole cult as far as I'm concerned. And then if other countries have banned it, why do they still have it here? Okay, make that make sense. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed if you have not been receiving notifications. You can follow me on Instagram at Dr._AShakur, TikTok at Dr. Shakur, Twitter, DGoddess27. Okay, I'm going live right after this on the other channel, on the backup channel. We've got to talk about these dead prisoners whose organs returned to their families with organs missing. Family didn't know about it. And then also this man, Jeremy Williams, who a woman sold her child to him for $2,500, okay? So that he could do horrible things to this child. He ended up taking the child's life. Okay, so he's been sentenced. We're going to talk about that. With that all being said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got